Hi everybody, this is Diamond Nelson from metalunderground.com, aka Oliver Hines, because that's my real name. And it's an honour to say we're with Mr. Bobby Blitz for one and only Overkill. How's it going?
Speaking sign language already, you seen that? They all know what that means. It's going well.
That works as well.
Yeah. It says this. I did this rap on stage before Fuck You, like I was in, Germany a few nights ago. I said, meine Deutsch ein perfect. Scheiße. My English is scheiße. My sign language perfect.
Well, straight into it, you've got the new album Wings of War is out now. It just came out a few weeks ago. It's a really fucking good album. I've listened to it on the way up here, I was listening to it on the way to London. It's a really, really strong album. How would you say it's compared to what was the last album?
Grinding Wheel.
Grinding Wheel.
There we go.
That's the one. Yeah, how would you compare the difference between those two?
Well, first and foremost, production. I think it has a more bombastic type audio approach to it. It was mixed by Chris Zeus Harris.
Mm-hmm. He's letting people know his name now, is he?
Huh?
He's letting people know his real name.
Zeus. But and Grinding Wheel by Andy Sneap. So two guys, at the top of their game, with differences. I mean, not obviously not 180-degree differences. But I think he made the record, this record, a little bit more brutal. The other one was a little bit more refined in its production. I think the songwriting was unique on this record too, because one of the things that I noticed early on was when I started getting the riffs that were kind of skeletal demos, when it was starting to develop, as I said, it's just, all it is heavy metal. I mean, it was just metal riffs, and sounding like the new wave of British heavy metal, or sounding like traditional metal. And then you add Jason Bittner to it, which just changed our chemistry. Then we had this whole new configuration. So those traditional metal riffs that were embryonic all the way to Zeus Harris, all these changes happened because our chemistry was different. And I think that what we have out of it is something kind of unique. I'm not going to say it's totally broke the mold of the Electric Age or the Grinding Wheel, but for sure a step to the left and then a step forward from what we've been doing since approximately 2010.
Cool. I mean, I was thinking when I was listening to it, Overkill is one of those bands, it's like Motorhead, in the sense that you know what you're going to get with Overkill, and it's always going to be good. You know what I mean? It's not going to have this. It's not going to be the same album over and over again, but it's going to have the similar. It's going to sound like Overkill, basically. You just go, oh, that's Overkill.
Well, that's it. I mean, that's really the key. Is at the end of the day, it has to have an Overkill stamp on it.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, that's really, that's the vision or the end of the idea, is that we're going to make it Overkill. Even if it's not Overkill 101 like Last Man Standing, which is a straight out thrash song, kicks the door in as the record opens, But then there's also, a much more traditional song like Distortion, with a swinging back and forth kind of a groove that is just laced all over it with melody. Just kind of, so, there's, for sure it's eclectic, and for sure there's contrasts and shades of gray over the whole thing. But the key is getting the Overkill stamp on it.
Absolutely, but it's interesting there. You mentioned Last Man Standing. Last Man Standing was one of those songs, there was a couple of others I can't quite remember off the top of my head, where I felt they almost had a bit of an industrial flavour to them, especially the opening of Last Man Standing.
Oh, sure.
It's got kind of a little industrial thing. Again, nothing, it doesn't sound like Ministry or anything like that, but it's got a cool little...
We were touring, oh God, was it last summer? It couldn't have been last summer because we were doing this record. The summer before, so I guess it was 16 or 17. And my wife and I came downstairs. We've been playing Summer Breeze in Germany, and Didi Verney is standing in front of the coffee machine, and he keeps pressing the button, and it's going, And I go, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, shh, I'm recording this for an intro that we're going to use in the future. Guy's always thinking,
Someone has to.
But I mean, obviously, we didn't use the coffee machine sound, but we found something that he found something that kind of matched it, And you know, as it started developing, we were going back and forth and adding things. I was like, I always go back to that stupid coffee machine situation, and you know, in the bottom of the bus. Shh, shh, the baby's sleeping.
I mean, but the album itself is a great continuation of recent Overkill. Overkill, again, a little bit like Motorhead. Motorhead's always been good, but they got to that point with Inferno where suddenly they got like even better, and the rest of the albums.
That was a great record, yeah.
Yeah, but Inferno, Kiss of Death, every album after that was fantastic. And I think it's been the same with Overkill since Ironbound. Every album since then, and it's a steady release as well. Like just over 2 years, there's been a new Overkill album, and every time it's just fucking smashed it.
That's funny because I never, you know, I mean, I've heard comparisons with regard to certain things with us and Motorhead, and obviously it's flattering, but I never thought that we subscribed to the, you know, I know that we do, but I never compared it that Motorhead did a lot of routine type releases, that they were like clockwork. They would just come out every couple of years, and I think I think it keeps you sharp, first of all. You know, it's not like, you don't have to like, you know, we're not tortured artists, you know, we're kind of like rock and roll metal guys, you know, I mean, we like fast cars and chicks. You know, we like fun stuff. So, I mean, we've always subscribed to that lifestyle, you know, we're not, you know, wonder why nobody appreciates our genius. We're just saying, give us another opportunity and we'll try to squeeze all the juice out of it. And I think, you know, I think that that's probably our principle when it comes to that. And it's, boy, I tell you, it's nice if somebody brings up and says, just, you know, it reminds me of Motorhead. I'm like, wow, really? I'm like blushing on the inside, you know?
Oh, sweet. One of the things you've done to promote the album is you did the Welcome to the Garden State series. There's also obviously the single, or the song Welcome to the Garden State, which is, I fucking love that song. Because it's so punk in a way, it's just a total fuck you.
It's all piss and vinegar.
Exactly, yeah. And it's the fucking strangest thing, right? When I was like 10, 11, I'd never been to America, and I always wanted to go to New Jersey, just because I was a big wrestling fan. And there was a guy called Diamond Dallas Page, and I'm like, he sounds so cool, I want to go there. You know? So I've always kind of had that look of New Jersey, and then you hear Welcome to the Garden State, and there's so many good lines in there. Was it like where the chemical waste meets the sand? That's so fucking good. And, but yeah, going back to the documentary there, it's been a really cool way to see how the band's evolved and all this kind of thing. Was it something that you'd hoped to do for a while, or is it something the label suggested?
You know, I work much more close with. I'm closer right now with the U.S. version of it, because they've now had 2 releases with us. They're right there. We're working around the same hours. And Gerardo Martinez, who's been in the scene for a long time and with Nuclear for a long time, runs the office out of Los Angeles, and we see eye to eye. And he has great hopes for us. You know, he still has the hunger we have as a band. He has for how he promotes things and for this band. And I remember, you know, I was talking with the publicist, and she was like, "We're going to fly you out here. We're going to do put you in front of the green screen with all the guys, and put you up in a hotel for 3 days." I was sitting there, and I said, "You know, hang on a second." I said, "Put Gerardo on the phone." I said, "Gerardo, why don't you fly Tommy and his crew out to New Jersey and show a little more of our personalities than, you know, just the cookie cutter presentation?" He goes, "I fucking love it. You know, let's fucking rock this." I said, "Listen, first of all, it's going to save you about half the cash, and then it gets our, I'm not going to say our message, but it gets people to know us, personality. It gets people to know us a little better. We're in our own element. We're where we recorded Jason's drums for this record. We're walking down Asbury Park. There's spots in there. There's a Paramount Theater in one of it. That's a quick shot. We did our first real DVD there. Now, Dee Dee and I were the promoters. We took on 50% of the promotion for that. You know, and took a big risk on it and filled this, you know, iconic theater right across the street from where Bruce Springsteen was playing Born to Run 15 years before in the Stone Pony. You know, so to be able to put all that together, we didn't think about it for a long time. It was just something off the top of the head, and I think that it was really successful because it was out of the box. It wasn't just, you know, here we are and we're heavy and we're tough and yeah, we recorded this and we recorded that. It was more like we talked about growing up in New Jersey and being in a band growing up in New Jersey. So it was kind of fun.
Yeah. Obviously, this is the Killfest, which is kind of a regularly. I'll try again. It's kind of a regular fixture now. You come over to Europe, you do the Killfest tours, and every year or every time you do it, there's always a fucking stellar lineup. And this one might be the best yet, with Destruction and Flotsam on board as well. They're two awesome bands, as well as yourself, obviously. What's interesting for me anyway is that it's a little similar to, there was a Headbangers tour, Bull tour in December, which had Exodus headlining with Sodom.
Oh.
And it's cool to see that American and German combination there. And obviously people make a lot of remarks or comparisons between the American and German one now. But what I was wondering was, back in the 80s, was there much like competition between America and German bands, or was it just kind of a, oh, that's cool?
I don't think it was necessarily a competition. I mean, things were happening simultaneously in, a few places, UK being one of them. And obviously a whole bunch of dotted little places, but for sure the California Bay Area, it was, the birth of a scene, and then the Slayer guys out of Los Angeles, and the Ruhrpott in Germany, where the industrial area is, Essen and... yes, I mean, that whole area. I mean, that was happening all simultaneously, so you couldn't really steal ideas because there was no internet. You had a tape trade. It would take 2.5 weeks to get the other guy's tape.
Yeah.
But we had a good rapport, but still, I think, a competitive nature as to not be number two. Oh, that's cool, but we still have to be number one. We still have to, try harder, kind of a thing. But I recently told Schmear's story that, in 1984, I'd just purchased a car, and Dee Dee and I and two other guys, threw 2 cases of beer and drove from Jersey up to Montreal to see a gig called World War III. And it would be our first chance to see Destruction. But it was also Celtic Frost. I think Possessed was on the bill.
Was Coroner on there as well? Was Coroner on there as well?
No, I don't think so. This is 84. No.
Okay.
No. But in any case, Dee Dee got to see them. I ended up meeting some girl on St. Catherine Street, and I never. He goes, "You missed the gig?" I said, "I missed the gig." I said, "I've never told the story, publicly." But he goes, he said to me, he goes, "I knew I'd like you. You had your priorities." But I have great respect for the German bands. I mean, yes. We've done the U.S. with Creator, did a co-headline swap with them. I mean, I get along famously with Speezy. We're, as he says, brothers from other mothers. So I have a huge respect for what the country likes, and huge respect for what they've offered musically.
Cool. And then just, well, more or less, as soon as you finished up here, you're heading back home, and you're hitting the road with Death Angel and Act of Defiance as well. So that's a really cool package there. I think American thrash and Canadian thrash bands got a lot to look forward to.
I think Act just pulled off. Chris is now doing stuff with In Flames, so it became conflict, so they dropped out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Death Angel, it'll be us and Death Angel in the 3rd for sure.
Sweet.
Yeah, but we're deciding on the 3rd at this point.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for taking time to speak to me, Blitz. I really do appreciate it.
My pleasure. Right on.